If you're confused about which AI model you should use, like ChatGPT or Claude or Grok or any of the other models out there, you're not alone. Most businesses are choosing AI models based on hype and not on what actually helps them with their specific business needs. This is costing them productivity, accuracy, and sometimes even putting all of their data at risk. And that's a major problem. Here's the thing. No one AI model is completely best. We have started to reach the age of differentiation with AI. What this means is that different AI models are going to excel at different tasks. ChatGPT 5 might be great for creative work, but Perplexity might be better for research. Claude might be ideal for any of your analytical work, but maybe DeepSeek is the best option for coding. Hey there, I'm Chase with NeuroWiz, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down some of the top AI models in the marketplace today, showing you their weaknesses, their strengths, their best use cases, and seeing which ones are going to work best for you in your business. Plus, I'll give you a roadmap to go ahead and start implementing these models right now. That's enough blabbering, let's dive in. Now, before we get into the weeds of different use cases, I want to give you a bit of a lay of the land. There's a bunch of assistants, tools, models, all sorts of AI, anything out there in the marketplace right now. But in this video, we're going to cover some of the top ones. Specifically, we'll go over these 7. OpenAI's ChatGPT, Anthropic's Claude, Google's Gemini, Perplexity AI, Microsoft Copilot, DeepSeek, and xAI's Grok. A lot of these models can do largely the same work, but the way in which they produce that work and their knowledge base behind them, vastly different. We're going to see which models are best for these specific use cases: creative content generation, real-time research and fact-checking, reasoning and analysis, code generation and debugging, data processing and insights, integration with existing tools, and cost-effectiveness and accessibility. Again, there's no such thing as one best AI. It's really going to be a matter of matching the best ones with the best use cases. You'll also notice that this list doesn't really include any image generators or video generators or voice generators, because those are great, but we're really going to just be working bare bones here with the generative AI. Now, that could be another video where I break down a couple of image generators and video generators, but for now, just text. Now, it's time to break these models down. Let's start with ChatGPT 5, OpenAI's latest and most versatile model. This model represents a significant leap forward in AI capabilities. ChatGPT 5 brings incredible enhanced reasoning that other models just couldn't compare to. When you use it, you notice better accuracy, fewer hallucinations, and it actually takes the time to think. The combination of these 3 factors lead to significantly more reliable outputs. This model is able to handle a lot more context within a single conversation for a lot longer, and it can also handle some multimodal capabilities, so you can work with text, images, and code all within the same conversation. Plus, the processing speed is significantly faster than previous versions. The creative writing in it is also fantastic. Now, you're gonna need to give it some general parameters to direct its creativity, but even then, it's able to produce some pretty good stuff. Whether it's coming up with content, some copy, business documentation, or drafting up some proposals, it's fantastic. The API flexibility also makes it significantly easier to utilize in different business systems. And you'll notice inside of OpenAI and inside of a lot of other tools you may be using that there typically tends to be a direct connection with OpenAI and those tools, which makes it a very versatile AI model to use in a lot of different business case scenarios. This is why whenever you watch any of these N8N or pipe dream buildouts on YouTube, they tend to use ChatGPT because it's the most widely available. Now let's get into some examples of where ChatGPT could really be beneficial in specific business use cases. When it comes to business application, ChatGPT does really well with strategic content creation. I'm talking long-form blog posts and thought leadership articles that require some deep thinking. And it's also excellent for creating complex marketing campaigns and messaging strategies, brand voice development, and competitive analysis that requires nuanced market positioning. For business strategy and planning, it can help with business model development and validation. It can help with market entry strategies with comprehensive risk assessment, product development brainstorming and roadmaps, and complex problem solving that requires multiple perspectives. The customer communications capabilities are also sophisticated too. It can handle advanced chatbot conversations that feel natural, create personalized email campaigns at scale, map complex customer journeys and optimize them, and manage intricate customer service scenarios that require empathy and problem solving. Now let's get into some of the limitations here. ChatGPT 5 is great, and OpenAI has created something spectacular and has really led the market in AI development. But being as big as they are and as versatile as they are, it's just a great generalist tool. ChatGPT has really prided itself in its ability to be consumer focused and really handle just about any scenario as best as it can, which kind of takes away from its ability to be specialized in any given direction. ChatGPT is free to use for consumers, but if you do want to hook it up via API into your other tools, you are going to need to pay something. Their pro level is $20 a month, and then their business level goes up $25 a month, $30 a month per individual inside of your team. The bottom line is that ChatGPT is a great generalist AI model. It can handle just about any use case pretty well, but it's not really specialized in any one thing. Now on to the next tool, Perplexity AI. Perplexity AI has positioned itself as a research-focused AI that bridges the gap between real-time information and AI reasoning, and it's honestly game-changing for businesses that need current, accurate data. What makes Perplexity unique is its ability to search the web and give you real-time data. It doesn't just grab random web data either. It actually tells you where it got it, where the source is, and links you to it. The whole system is really designed for information gathering. Yes, you can utilize it for a variety of other uses. However, this is where it really shines. Now, there are other models that can search the web, and that's great, but Perplexity is much more finely tuned in its ability to search for real, accurate, current data. Perplexity is great for any sort of fact verification or market analysis and research for your business. Now let's get into some practical business applications of Perplexity AI. For business applications, if you couldn't already tell, Perplexity shines in market research and intelligence. You can get competitor analysis with current data rather than outdated information, identify industry trends as they're happening, assess market size and opportunities with recent data, and track real-time news and developments that might affect your business. When it comes to content research and verification, it's perfect for fact-checking existing content and claims, researching thought leadership articles with current information, gathering data for reports and presentations that need to be accurate and up-to-date, and staying on top of regulatory and compliance updates. For business development, you can research leads and gather prospect intelligence, identify partnership opportunities as they emerge, analyze the current investment and funding landscape, and understand customer behavior and preference research with recent data. Now let's talk about some of the limitations. Perplexity has made it very clear that they're a research-focused AI, meaning that their creative capabilities aren't as great. And because it does real-time searches and its ability to get current, accurate data is impeccable, sometimes it does take a little longer to get those outputs. And while it's great at research, its conversational depth is a little bit shorter compared to models like ChatGPT or Claude. You can use Perplexity for free, and a pro version is only $20 a month, so it's a pretty cheap tool to utilize. Perplexity is essentially your dedicated research assistant. It's best when you need current, accurate data and information so that you can do proper fact verification and market analysis. Now, on to the next tool, Anthropic's Claude. Claude also has made it very clear that they're starting to steer in a specific direction, specifically into more enterprise situations. It's a great tool if one of your main concerns is safety and compliance within your company and your data. Claude has a couple different versions in which it can answer questions and queries. Claude Sonnet is the base model that they use to answer pretty much just any sort of questions or queries that you have for it within a pretty fast manner. Then you have Claude Opus, which takes a lot more time, does a lot more thinking, does a lot more reasoning to get you the best output possible. So really, when you're looking at Claude Sonnet versus Claude Opus, you're looking at speed versus quality. But to be honest, speed's also actually pretty good quality too. Claude also has a surprisingly human-like ability to pick up on nuance and context so that it can actually provide even better reasoning and better outputs. Even when it comes to producing written content, Claude is great at producing human-like results. You might see in other models that it's kind of choppy or robotic. Claude's pretty conversational. In fact, all of my scripts that I use for these videos, I use Claude. Because of Claude's outspoken pivot into more enterprise situations, it is really good at doing any sort of strategic analysis work. Think business plan reviews, risk assessment and mitigation strategies, and any sort of financial modeling and analysis. It's the kind of AI that can give you some really thoughtful and well-reasoned analysis. Now let's go over a couple different use cases you can use in your business. In quality assurance applications, Claude shines with content editing and proofreading that goes beyond just grammar checking, process improvement recommendations based on careful analysis, and compliance checking and guidance that considers nuanced requirements. When you need decision support, Claude can weigh pros and cons of business decisions thoughtfully, conduct stakeholder impact analyses, and help with scenario planning and forecasting that considers multiple variables. Now, when you're looking at some limitations with Claude, it might have a shorter context window than other models might when it comes to interacting with it, and it might be a little more conservative in its responses than other models might be as well. They have a pretty solid free version, and their paid plans start as low as $20 a month, so not bad. Claude is essentially your analytical business consultant. It's best for thoughtful analysis, strategic thinking, and making any sort of decisions where compliance and reliability is more important than creativity. Now on to the next tool, DeepSeek. DeepSeek is an interesting alternative because it kind of came onto the scene out of nowhere, and it offers a significantly cheaper alternative to a lot of these different models. What I mean here is that it's not necessarily cheaper on a monthly basis, as a lot of these models have a monthly subscription, but rather DeepSeek goes on a by usage basis. Every other model has usage rates as well on top of its monthly subscription, but DeepSeek is purely usage based. So if you were to connect DeepSeek to any of your other online tools utilizing an API, you only get charged on the API calls, not on the actual ownership of an account of DeepSeek itself. Which sounds great, but what do you actually use DeepSeek for? DeepSeek is best utilized for any sort of mathematical or code-based work. It can handle programming tasks, debugging, code creation as a whole, and it's really good at any sort of mathematical work like any sort of financial analyses or calculations. And that's kind of it. It's very easy, very simple, very transparent in how they actually build out their model. So let's go ahead and dive into the use cases for your business. For software development and technical tasks, DeepSeek is exceptional. It handles code generation, debugging, and optimization really well. It's great for API development and integration planning, technical documentation and architecture design, and database design with query optimization. If you're running cost-sensitive operations, DeepSeek is a game changer. You can use it for high-volume content processing without breaking the bank, automated customer service responses at scale, data analysis and reporting that would be expensive with premium models, and internal process automation and optimization. For analytical work, it excels at financial modeling and analysis, business process optimization, quality assurance and testing procedures, and research synthesis and summarization. The limitations are important to consider though. Because it is a smaller player in the AI market, it doesn't have the same brand recognition that an OpenAI or an Anthropic would have, which may mean you have a little less native third-party integrations already. And while it is a good cost-effective tool and it's really strong in its coding and mathematical abilities, it's a little lacking in other areas. But again, their differentiator, it's cheap. There's not a monthly subscription attached to it, and it's all based on token utilization and API calls. DeepSeek is essentially your budget optimizer. If you need something that can do financial analysis and coding work really well at a good cost, DeepSeek's a good pick. Now let's go to the next tool, Google's Gemini. Google's Gemini is very similar to a lot of other models out there, but because it's developed by Google, it works seamlessly with inside the Google ecosystem. So if you're using tools like Google Workspace already, it's a pretty seamless fit. You have Gemini Flash, which is its faster response model, and you have Gemini Pro, which is its deeper reasoning model. Not to mention, it's directly integrated into Google's ecosystem, so you can use it pretty much anywhere. You can utilize it inside of Gmail, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Drive, anything Google, you can use it. It's already built in. You'll also notice that if you do any sort of searches on Google, there's an AI mode that pops up. That's Gemini. And not only can it give you an AI response, there's also a button where you can dive deeper and interact with Gemini even further. Because of the fact that it's made by Google, it has a really good ability to be able to search the web based on the fact that it has one of the largest knowledge bases in the world. And if you're already utilizing a Google Workspace, it's kind of your best bet because it's already there. So let's look into some specific business use cases for your business. For Google Workspace enhancement, Gemini is outstanding. It can draft and respond to Gmail emails in your style, generate and edit content in Google Docs seamlessly, create complex formulas and analyze data in Google Sheets, and develop presentations in Google Slides with relevant content and formatting. When it comes to research and information gathering, Gemini excels at current market trend analysis using integrated search data, competitor research with real-time information, industry news summarization that stays current, and real-time fact-checking and verification. The data analysis capabilities are impressive too. It can analyze spreadsheets and provide insights, generate charts and graphs directly from Google Sheets data, recognize patterns in your business data, and create automated reports from Google Analytics and other Google tools. Now let's talk about some of the limitations here. It's a fantastic model to go ahead and just keep using if you're inside a Google ecosystem. But if you're inside a Microsoft ecosystem or your own custom ecosystem, integration gets a little dicey and you're not really getting a whole lot of the same benefit that you would if you were inside of a Google ecosystem. All the biggest benefits that Gemini can offer really live inside of Google. Outside of that, it's just kind of another model. Pricing wise, it's integrated into Google Workspace plans, but if you do want to have it outside of Google Workspace, there are a couple of plans that are more API based. If you couldn't tell already, Gemini is essentially your Google-based assistant. It can do a lot of things very well inside of Google's ecosystem. Now we go into another ecosystem, Microsoft's, with Microsoft Copilot. Microsoft Copilot is interesting because it's not its own model. It's actually built off of the knowledge base of OpenAI. The big difference here is that it works really well inside of the Microsoft ecosystem. It's connected to everything: Outlook, SharePoint, Word, PowerPoint. You have it, you name it. Not only that, but because Microsoft also owns GitHub and Bing, it has some deep integrations there as well. Microsoft Copilot really is built just for the Microsoft ecosystem, and it can integrate itself very, very well into all the different tools you have there. Outside of that, not as useful. Now let's get into some specific business use cases for your business. For document creation and management, Copilot excels at Word document drafting, editing, and formatting that maintains your company's style. It can generate PowerPoint presentations with proper design and relevant content, create complex Excel formulas, and perform advanced data analysis, and optimize Outlook email management and scheduling in ways that actually save time. In software development, GitHub Copilot is genuinely impressive. It handles code generation and debugging directly in your development environment, provides code review and optimization suggestions that improve quality, generates documentation for development projects automatically, and assists with API development and integration work. The media and collaboration features are where Copilot really shines in business settings. It creates comprehensive Teams meeting summaries and extracts action items, facilitates collaborative document editing and review processes, helps with project planning and tracking across Microsoft tools, and enhances cross-team communication in meaningful ways. Now let's talk about the pretty obvious limitation here is that you need to be inside of a Microsoft environment. If you're not inside a Microsoft environment, Copilot's really not going to help you out all that much. Pricing for this is typically $30 a month, or if you're using the GitHub Copilot, it's about $10 a month, all on a per user basis. Copilot really excels in being able to help with your overall productivity and efficiency if you are inside a Microsoft environment. Now let's get into the last tool on this list, xAI's Grok. xAI's Grok is really unique, and it's kind of a one of a kind in its own regard. Its knowledge base isn't necessarily what's on the internet, which it can search the internet. It's based on a direct feed to a major social platform. This allows it to hop on current events and social trends that other models just can't compare. xAI's Grok is really different in the fact that not only does it have access to these social conversations online, but it can directly integrate and connect with those conversations as well. I mean, you can tweet to Grok saying, hey, and it'll say, hey back inside the platform. That's wild. Not only is it able to interact with different social conversations and look at real-time current events, but it also has sentiment analysis behind it. So it understands what's going on and how people feel about it. And if you want to do any sort of brand monitoring, you can do that because it's directly connected to the brand profiles of all of your competitors instantly. Not only that, but it's really good at what it does. It also has the faster response times and its ability to do deep reasoning within a model itself and provides some pretty thoughtful generative text. And because it's owned by Elon Musk, you can bet that there's a little bit of creativity, I guess we'll call it, within some of its responses as well. Now let's look at some specific business use cases for your business. For social media and brand management, Grok is exceptional. It provides real-time brand monitoring and sentiment analysis that shows you what people are actually saying about your company. It identifies trending topics for content strategy before they become mainstream, helps optimize social media campaigns based on current conversations, and offers crisis management and reputation monitoring when things go sideways. The market intelligence capabilities are impressive too. You can analyze consumer sentiment on products or services in real time, study competitors' social media strategies and see what's working, identify industry trends through social conversations before they hit traditional media, and find influencers and thought leaders in your space. For content strategy, Grok helps with trending topic content creation that's actually relevant, real-time news and event commentary, social media engagement optimization based on current trends, and viral content pattern analysis to understand what makes things spread. Now, there are limitations to a model like this. One is that it's very directly integrated within X, meaning that you can only utilize it if you have a paid X subscription. They do have a free model you can use, but if you want to utilize the more advanced models like Super Grok, you're going to need to have an X subscription. Another thing is that it's very consumer focused. There are a lot of business applications for it, but it really is made for the average X user in mind. And another thing on top of that, it's very X focused. So it's not necessarily integrated with like an Instagram or a TikTok. So you're really only getting one subset of the social media marketplace. And this is a personal note, the girl AI person, weird. It's really weird. Grok is included in any of the X subscriptions. So if you want to get a subscription with X, you can look at I think it's premium for $8 a month or premium plus for $40 a month. The difference being its capabilities within the X platform, but then also whether or not you can use Grok or Super Grok. Grok is essentially your social intelligence specialist. It's best for businesses that need real-time social interest and trend analysis. And if understanding social conversations and public sentiment is essential for your business, there's no other model that compares. Now, all this information is great, but how do you choose which model for what use case? Here's a basic framework that you can use to decide which tool is going to be best for which use case in your business. This is what I call the 4-factor framework. Factor 1, primary use case. If your primary use case is creative content and marketing, ChatGPT or Grok are going to be great. If you're looking at any sort of analysis and strategic thinking, Claude is a solid pick. If you're looking at data analysis and research, Gemini or Perplexity are going to be good. If you're looking at productivity and workflow, either Gemini inside of the Google ecosystem or Copilot inside of the Microsoft ecosystem are going to be great picks. Factor 2, existing technology stack. If you're a Google Workspace user, just use Gemini. If you're a Microsoft 365 user, just use Copilot. Or if you have a mix of those systems and other systems, ChatGPT and Claude are great for flexibility. Factor 3, budget and volume. If you're looking at a high volume and you're cost sensitive, maybe one of the older models of ChatGPT or DeepSeek is going to be good for you. If you're looking at quality over cost, Claude is a great option. If you're inside an enterprise environment with existing licenses, Copilot for the Microsoft environment and Gemini for the Google environment are great. Factor 4, risk tolerance. If you have high accuracy requirements, Claude is a great pick. If there's some creative freedom that's needed, ChatGPT or Grok are fantastic. If enterprise security is required, just stay within inside your ecosystem. If it's Microsoft, use Copilot. If it's Google, use Gemini. And if current information is needed, Gemini, Perplexity, or Grok are going to be great picks. Now, you don't have to just pick one model and stick to it. If anything, I'd recommend you choose 2 to 3 different models, use them for different use cases, and see which one not only provides the best results, but also fits the best within your organization. For example, I love Claude and ChatGPT for writing. Sometimes I use Claude, sometimes I use ChatGPT. Different uses for both tools end up getting me better results one way or the other, so I use both. Now that you have a very thorough understanding of some of the different models out there, it's time to go use them. But implementation, right? You have to figure out how to actually put it into your business, don't you? No worries, I got you. I have a sample implementation roadmap for you right here, so be sure to take some notes. Here's a way you can start implementing AI into your business. Phase 1, start simple. Choose one model for your most pressing need. Start with the consumer versions, like ChatGPT Plus or Claude Pro. Train your team on basic prompting techniques, and measure time savings and quality improvements. Once you have some solid traction there, it's time for phase 2, to expand strategically. You can add API access for higher volume tasks, integrate with your existing tools and workflows, add a second model for different use cases, and create standard operating procedures if you don't have them already. Once you feel solid there, it's time for phase 3, to optimize and scale. You can fine-tune your multimodal strategy based on the results you get, build custom integrations in automated workflows, develop team expertise in prompt engineering across platforms, and you can measure ROI and business impact across all models. Now, there's some key success factors that we need to make sure we have here. One is to match the models to specific needs. Yes, they can do a lot of the same tasks, but you want to make sure you use the best tool for the best use case to get the best results. 2 is to leverage unique strengths, like using Perplexity for research or Grok for social intelligence. 3, consider total cost of ownership. The monthly subscriptions aren't the only costs. You also have usage costs and the cost and time that it takes to implement it into your team and your company. 4, stay current. The AI landscape evolves so fast, and there's a very good chance that this video becomes just irrelevant within the next 3 to 6 months. Again, you don't need to use all of these tools right off the bat. I highly recommend you just choose 1, 2, or 3 just to kind of get your feet wet to see what it's like and then build out and scale from there. It's better to be really good at utilizing 1 or 2 of them really well instead of just kind of being able to utilize all of them. Now, even though this video may become irrelevant in the next 3 to 6 months, the fundamentals will always stay the same when it comes to utilizing these AI models. Choose the right tool for the right job. Don't get caught up in any of the hype that a lot of these people talk about with the different AI tools. Just stick to what works and expand strategically. If you want some help understanding the different models and really seeing which ones might work best for you and your business, you can book a call with our team below for a free AI needs assessment. On this needs assessment call, we go over your current AI and automation utilization, the current bottlenecks keeping your business from growing, and then we come up with custom tailored solutions to help with your specific needs. You can click the link in the description below to book a call, or you can scan the QR code right here to talk to one of our team members. Now you understand some of the top generative AI tools out there, and you may be really eager to just go ahead and dive in and start using it in your business, but just because you can use it doesn't mean you should use it. In fact, there's a couple things you need to understand first before you start implementing AI into your business. We filmed a video going over the 3 different types of business automation that you need to understand first before you dive into AI utilization in your business. And you can go watch that video right here. Stop overwhelming yourself with all the different options out there. Determine what needs to be done, select a couple models to do it, and then go from there. I'm Chase from NeuroWiz, and I'll see you next time.